So
Okay.
you can finish your statement, then we'll get started.
No, but like if someone like gives me really like crap service, then like it's like don't expect a tip. And if they try to call me out on it, it's like, well, you should have worked hard enough for your tip then.
See, here's the thing I feel about that. As someone who's worked in the food industry, I will never not give a tip. No matter how shitty the service is. I will give a shitty tip. But I will never not give a tip because that is literally how they survive.
Well, no, I'm aware of that. I worked at a bar for a time.
Like,
And basically, like, if you really felt like, you do a shit job, you get shit pay, and sometimes shit pay is no pay.
I don't entirely like it. I don't enjoy the tip system. I think it's silly, and there's a reason other countries don't do it.
I feel like JV's laughing at us. I'm kidding.
Do they not tip in New Zealand? I know they don't tip in Australia because they actually pay people.
They actually give people real wages.
Alright, I'm about to get started for the night.
Anyway, with that lovely bit of politics.
Well, I mean, it's not politics, it's just people.
You could argue
It's just capitalism.
Yeah. Alright, welcome to the Ilderon Tales. This is Group D, Brothers in Arms, Episode 11. And who knows when this campaign's gonna end. It ends when Father A dies. Never.
One day.
Oh man, is that all it needs to take? I will commit seppuku this session.
No, but we are playing Dungeons and Dragons tonight. It is a role-playing game. Everything you are going to see tonight is going to be live storytelling. Nothing you're going to see is scripted. We are playing in a homebrewed campaign setting as the world of Ilderon. And if you want to learn more about it, you can go to ilderontales.com. That is spelled ILDERON TALES.com. That's how you do the spelling. If you're under the age...
Very emphasize that there's only one L.
Yeah. If you're under the age of 14, please consult your parents before watching any further. Tidbits. Does anybody have a question about the world, the story, or D&D in general? I feel like we had a huge conversation about just D&D stuff for the past 40 minutes.
We have, but it's like other DM's decisions that we do not agree with.
Yeah.
We will leave it at that.
I have more of a personal question.
Hit me.
And this could go to anyone. So I was watching a Davey Chappie video today, and it made me think of it. If you had to pick a side between the two, demons or devils, to win the blood war, who would you pick?
I would
feel like this
choose.
is targeted at me.
Ooh, wait! Before anybody answers, let's go top to bottom in Discord. So Shelby, who would you pick?
Devils.
Devils. Okay. E, who would you pick?
Oh boy, I don't know, honestly.
I'm picking Devils because Zariel is a waifu extreme. Anthony, who would you pick?
Honestly, I'd go devils just because they're more lawful, and if demons were to take over, they'd more likely just destroy everything.
Jackal?
Oh, my answer was basically the same as the fact that, like, devils can be reasoned with, or make a contract with not to burn all our stuff. Demons are just masses of chaos.
And JV?
Devils, discipline and structure will outcompete the chaos.
And Rob?
I feel that I have to say devils.
Oh, okay, so it's almost like unanimous consent minus Wolf.
I mean, for the same reasons everybody stated, but I also play a character that's kind of, sort of, maybe dating a devil. I don't understand the relationship.
It's a little gray in that area.
Like, she's a lawful, evil, selfish entity, but at the same time, cares enough about my well-being to say that I need to maybe find, residency outside of the capital, because,
And also invited you to go stargazing with her.
Right, I'm confused.
We'll put your relationship status
I don't
down.
think I've seen a lot of compassion in my life, so it just stands out as weird whenever I
Jackal,
see it.
did you just say it's complicated?
I No, I said, we'll put your status down on Facebook as it's complicated.
Rob, you do have those lambskin pouches.
I don't. You
Alright.
think I kept those?
Oh, so you like to go?
That would require me
raw
showing
dog it,
human
then?
kindness.
Let's get started for the night. The recap for last episode. Last episode started on the... Did we really start on the 28th of Hunter? So
Yeah, well, we were still
Oh,
in the...
yeah,
we were
'cause it
still
is the
in
29th. Okay.
The dungeon.
Yeah. So, yeah, last episode started on the 28th of Hunter. This party had just finished killing Joseph Fifth. I don't think he had a specific title. Oh, Nightmare Lord. There we go. That was his title. He was a member of the Twilight Fang and had acquired some obscene powers. He was driving people mad in a secret chambers below the Chantry of Discipline, which is the religion that worships the fire goddess. The party raided the rest of the quarters. They found one more Chantry investigator who was barricaded himself in a room. After dispatching of him, the party found some loot and treasure, and yeah, they distributed amongst themselves. They went then back to the castle to let Ariana know that the task had been taken care of, and Joseph had been dispatched of. While talking to Ariana, the party came across another group of adventurers. They were a group known as the Unrepentant, made up of members of the Chantry of Unity. They are the investigative branch of the Chantry of Unity, and foreigners. And they had a brief conversation with them, and Ariana let them know that she released a war criminal into their ranks. It is not uncommon for the Unrepentant to use criminals as part of their sentence for the good of the nation. Then moving from there, after the party had told her they beat Joseph and his weird mind magic that he had, Oreo didn't trust that they were completely within their own minds, because Joseph could have easily have won the fight and tricked them into coming here and trying to get close to the magnate and doing the killy kill. So after that, the party agreed to be quarantined until the diviners could inspect them and clear them of any magical mind alteration, or rather inspect them for any magical mind alteration. And after they were determined to be clear of such ailments, they would be allowed to roam free. Alma and Mero went to the Kalkin office, where they had a heart-to-heart talk along the way. And then from there, Father A went to the Silver Dagger Tavern, and he talked to his criminal contact, Galay. Galay was an apprentice smith, had a front as an apprentice smith. She was really a contractor for criminals sent by the Ruby Shadow. But the smith instructor who was teaching her how to forge and basically paying her life expenses was a man by the name of Fractus Behair. He had been killed by the ghost storm, with which Joseph had a hand in consistently agitating. And so, seeing as Joseph had been killed, Father A went to tell her that the deed was done and that there was vengeance for their fallen friend, as Fractus was a friend of Father Anderson too. She offered him a favor in order to repay him, and Father Anderson didn't act on it and went. Or rather, he slept inside of the Silver Dagger Tavern, too, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then so on the 29th, the next morning, the party all met up back in the castle. The diviners cleared the party of any misconceptions that would be spread about them, as they were found to have been under no magical mind-altering effects. The party ate breakfast together. There they learned a cacophony of things. Oro did not give Octavia a key. He was happy that the party had dispatched of Joseph, and that Octavia's soul, in quotation marks, is now free, but really her mind is free. After a brief spitting match between Father A and Oro, Father A left the table, and Oro's knight began talking about magic. From there, Father A sat with Anna, and Celebris pulled Mero aside to have a conversation with him, in which Mero disclosed his real name to Celebris, which was Eric. They had a heart-to-heart and came off on a little better terms with each other. And where we left off for that session was Father A talking to Anna. Anna informed Father Anderson that Tristan had officially submitted his appointment for High General of Winds. That is the general of Arder's royal army that is in charge of the logistics and troop movements and supply lines to keep armies on the battlefields. The person that Tristan had chosen is a very experienced person in this field. Her name is Ambassador Nivera Dardel. She is the she's the Claw Counselor for a faction called Nazaram, which is a huge multi-nation peacekeeping force. Tristan had nominated her to become High General of Winds, in part because of her experience, and in part because of their friendship, and Anna believes partially in part because of the tensions that Nivera has towards Ariana. And that said, Anna believed it was a power play, as one of the reasons Ariana had called home the Nazaram faction and called all of the Ardorians to withdraw out of Nazaram and return to the nation is because the nation is in a civil war, and she needed the additional forces inside of the royal army to beat the rebelling faction and beat the enemy nation that is attacking their borders. Anna believes that Tristan is trying to get a hold of this faction that is returning to Arder's shores by having Nivera's loyalty to the royal army and then to Tristan. From there, Anna also informed Father Anderson that Nivera was really good friends with ethics counselor Typhus Seasons, and if the party remembers, Typhus Seasons is the mentor who trained Lila Alakan. She was his apprentice. Lila Alakan is the ethics counselor assigned to Father Anderson that got thrown in jail. And because she was thrown in jail because of crimes that they thought she committed, they thought she was manipulating Father Anderson to commit crimes. Because she was thrown in jail, Father Anderson's name was cleared. If Nivera gets a position of power, she can be a character witness for Lilda. And if Lilda goes free, Anna informed Father Anderson that his trial, or rather the investigation into his actions, would likely continue, and that the capital is becoming a very unsafe place for him. Father Anderson faced that with no fear, and I think the party regrouped and discussed where to head next, and the decision was heading to the city of Somar Villas, just south of the capital, for Lady Lethalia Nakart's ball that is happening this evening. If I missed anything, feel free to let me know. And
I also went to South Pell.
Oh, you went to South Pell. What happened at South Pell?
Mostly more of the... It's a shame what's happening to your father, bullshit I get from...
Oh, yeah, I remember that. I don't remember at what point you went to South Pell, but yeah, I do remember that.
After we left the Chantry.
Before
I went there first, and then I went to Galay.
Ah, okay. Who were you looking for at the...
Anadelia, because we got that shipping contract.
Okay, and I actually
informed me that she's in Somar Villa to spend time with her family.
Haha, that is very good news for me, because I was actually preparing that ball today, and I was like, man, it would be great if I could put Anadelia in the ball.
With her fucking wife and kids.
Yeah, but too bad she's in the capital. Cool. Alright, so I just added that to my notes. I did legitimately forget that. And that is why we do these recaps, so we can all remember.
I brought it up because, one, it happened, and then, two, I mentioned it when we were doing the what should we do next? Because you had NPC Rael call me out on it, even though that conversation went nowhere.
Oh, there's stuff I need to message Rael.
Man, I'm just a wealth of information.
Yeah! Alright, so... JV...
You killed your character, JV.
JV, I'm going to message you.
Oh my god, is it Caden posing as Riot? That'd be a twist.
Now it'll be Ryle posing as Caden posing as Ryle.
Gotta keep us on our toes.
Royalception.
He's wearing a hat, like, he's used disguise self to appear as himself while wearing a hat of disguise that's making him look like Tatum.
And... Sorry about this. This was my bad. I should have sent this earlier this week.
It's okay, I'm posting memes, friend.
Okay, cool. Alright, so that information is sent. We are going to pick up from the morning of the 29th, and before I time skip past breakfast, the easier option I could just ask everybody is, did you want to head straight to Somar Villa? Because on foot you'll get there in the evening as nightfall is happening.
We were gonna take a carriage.
I would say we talked a little bit about getting a carriage. Did we change our minds?
Okay, cool. Let me look up the rate of that for you. Shouldn't be very much at all.
Has Ryle had enough time to scribe teleport yet?
There was not. Because teleport is a 7th level spell, and I believe it's 7 hours to put it in your spell book. 14? Yeah, what happened was you were getting through it, and then everything happened with the Twilight Fang. And then, the party had to go to sleep, and even sleeping like half the time, Rael would have only had like 6 hours to get up, earlier than everybody else and start working on it.
So how far is he through it now?
I think that would put you at a total of 7 hours. Or just under 7 hours, because you work for like 40 minutes on it. No, you cast your homunculus, so you would just be at 6 hours, because the homunculus took an hour.
Cool. So 6 hours done?
Yeah. Alright, so... What was I doing? Oh, I was looking up carriages. Is that the ultimate decision by everybody to take a carriage?
Yeah. I was gonna ask about the material with that. We can talk about that after the session, though.
Okay. Well, if you're spending your loot points, you are in a capital city. You can spend your loot points on anything on that loot table and get those materials.
Yeah, I was trying to. Yeah, we were going to do that. Yeah, I'm going to basically get those materials, and
Okay.
that's all that I would do as well.
Alrighty. Alright. For a coach cab between towns, 3 copper per mile. That's barely anything. Alright, and headed to Somar Villa. It is going to be... Yes. What's up, Shelby?
Oh, I was gonna ask E, how much gold did we get again? I didn't write it down, so...
Hold on, I need to check my messages. Everybody got the same amount besides Marrow. Marrow gave you all 340 gold. Everybody besides him.
Alright.
Marrow got the short, decided to give him short end of the stick and give him himself 164.
So, leaving the capital, as you are going through the different areas of Somia, there is, you guys are going to find a caravan heading south to Somar Villa, filled with, well, not filled, that is offering rides. It has room for 8 people. 3 people have already paid their fare to get in and head to Somar Villa. There are 5 seats left. It is 1 gold for the entirety of your party.
I just realized I have a horse and saddle, so I'm gonna be bride.
Okay.
But I'll ride with the carriage.
Okay. I don't know how many people are in your party. I just rolled that at random. So let's see.
There's 6.
Okay, so if Dumont rides, then there is no problem.
Yep.
Alright, who's paying the gold?
I got it. Okay.
Alright. Oh, go ahead.
Won't say anything. Brian won't say anything, but he's really pissed off the whole time. And just utterly contemptuous of horses and carriages.
Alright. Actually, roll me a deception check to hide Rael's contempt. Otherwise, the party is going to be able to get to Somar Villa. Alright. Give me this back, and... Oh man, it's been a hot second since we've been to Somar Villa. I actually have to pull it out of the archives. Restore. Okay, I saw that, JB.
I'm on my phone. Sorry.
There's a history check, a deception check, a longbow check, a firebolt check. All the horses are dead. I'm kidding. Okay, so the party is going to be able to arrive at Somar Villa. You get there well before nightfall. It is the afternoon of the 29th. The people on the carriages, I'm gonna roll them. I'm just rolling percentage dice of who they are. And okay, so on the carriage, there are three different people here, and one of them is eyeballing Father Anderson. Or no, I'm sorry, not Father Anderson. One of them is eyeballing Marrow.
What? I thought it was going to be Silvus. Okay.
Marrow.
Probably the most normal-looking person here to them.
That's
far
fair.
off.
You.
I mean, I'm the only one in like formal attire, but you know.
The person looking at you seems kind of angry at you. She has brown hair pulled into a taki braid, and she is in studded leather armor, and has a bastard sword on her back. And she looks like a very skilled adventurer.
Anderson, do you know this woman? Did you recently piss her off?
No, she's looking at Marrow, not Anderson.
Yeah.
Oh, did I redirect that to Marrow? I'm sorry, I misheard.
Do I recognize this woman?
She looks familiar.
Please be careful.
I'll let you roll a history check. To try and remember where you met her, but
I want to say, is she the woman that I tossed into the cart?
It's coming back to you. Yeah, yeah, it is.
Yeah. I know why you're mad at me.
She's gonna shake her head and say, "I'm not mad. How's my bow treating you? Save the nation with it?"
Not even once.
Never even used it.
Is that Father A's reply?
Yeah.
In character.
She's going to shrug and say, "Well, I'm glad I had to forfeit that archery tournament then, inside of Ardor Sarai. I hear, though, the people of Somar Villa are much more pleasant."
Yeah, they say things about you behind your back, not to your face.
Marrow is going to sigh and state, usually I would have. It's just a bit hard to fight with a bow in such close quarters.
I know you're
You guys just pissed off everyone while I was away, didn't you?
No.
I'm not
I
even
pissed
sure.
off everyone when you were alive, so.
Marrow is then
No,
going...
like, all I is gonna actually ask this is like, I'm out of the loop. Who is this?
She is going to raise a hand and say, "Flund."
I guess it's a pleasure to meet you, Flund. I'm unaware of what transpired between you and my companions.
Mero is then going to pull out his. I was going to offer you this as part of a trade for your bow. It's just, it kind of slipped my mind when you insulted my skill. If you would still like a bow, I'm willing to still give you my old one. It's still in perfect shape. It's just not magical. It's just not.
You know, the bow she needs.
She is going to reach over and take. Do you offer the bow towards her?
The normal short bow Mero has.
Okay. She's going to take the short bow, turn it over twice in her hands, and then break it, and then continue to look out the window.
I feel that.
Well, that wasn't petty.
She's gonna look at it and say, "Oh, it slipped. I'm sorry."
I like her.
Did you kill her family, or like you failed to save a dear one or something? What did you do?
And I actually did roll a history die for the other two people in the carriage, and they're like, they look at Father Anderson, but they don't recognize him. Like,
Good. I'd have hopped right out of this carriage and walked.
Wait, didn't you commit? Aren't you that knight who got accused of treason? No, not you. Okay, we're sorry.
No, it's like, does he look familiar?
No, it's this one, the one with the bow.
Alright, otherwise, the carriage ride proceeds in uncomfortable silence.
Uncomfortable. I'm fine.
No, I was very uncomfortable.
I'm tempted to cast silence just to ensure it.
Silence doesn't move with the cart, unfortunately.
It moves on an object.
Does it?
Dumont is having
I cast
a
it on-
conversation with Gimple.
Oh yeah, Gimple would be here too, on horseback. Alright, so the
I
party...
assume that he's like bungee corded to the side of the horse.
That's not a bad idea.
I'm just picturing rocket boosters in the bottom of his feet.
Mm-hmm. Otherwise, the party is...
Tied to the saddlebag.
The party is able to arrive in Somar Villa. You are on the north side of town, and I knew you guys were going here tonight, and I should have grabbed my notes out already. There is that tavern there on the north side. I think it's called the Woolgrief. Haha! That one. Alright, at the Woolgrief Tavern, the carriage driver is going to start helping people unload their gear from on top of the carriage and hand it out to different people. Flun is going to... Flun is actually not going to have anything other than her satchel. Flings it over her shoulder and heads off, saying nothing else to you.
Just like, to the relief of everyone now that she's away.
She take the bow with her, or she leave?
She broke that bow.
No, she leaves it on the ground of the on the floor of the carriage.
Just gonna leave that there too.
Dumont's gonna pick it up and go, Father A, do you have mending? No reason to have a good bow like this to go to waste.
You're asking the wrong questions. You're asking if I care. I don't.
6 seconds.
Actually, Alma does have mending. So it's like, I guess if you want the bow, I don't mind. Take it and spend like a minute mending it back together. I can already... Mara, I was aware that you were the unsociable type. I didn't realize it was that bad.
Mayor's just gonna look at you and state, why do you think I don't talk to anybody unless I need to?
I feel. I feel like you need to improve instead of avoiding it, but that can be a discussion for another time.
Ooh, this might be Shelby's first time as a player inside of Somerville. TP.
Okay, since nobody is listening, do I really care, Brendan?
Do you really care?
Yeah, about what this place is like.
It's up to you. If you don't want me to describe it, I
So it's a
will not.
ritzy place, you know? You can just see that there's riches everywhere. These are the finer people in life. In the middle is a gothic tower of horror shadow. Casting darkness across the land. It belongs to a vampire.
It's actually
That's
a
why
really
we're the
good
party.
description.
Yeah, and as a player, this would have been my first time being here at all as well.
Yeah, I don't think Galma's ever been here.
What this place
It's
is like.
Yeah, but you,
If you don't
Jackal
want me-
have. That's where Group C's legs started.
okay. Cool. We are broadcasting frames again. That was really weird. Okay, so yeah, I won't bother describing it. Rob did a excellent description.
While you were away, so for the fans, too bad.
Yeah. I don't know how to well, no, actually, I think the broadcaster did catch Rob's description, though. But I don't know how to casually describe it in ways that other people can understand in shorthand. But anyways, yeah.
Gothic England with darkness.
Where and what do you want to do? Where do you want to go and what do you want to do?
I want to get away from the angry lady.
Mm-hmm.
She already left.
Yeah.
I guess I could go check see how my Koken office or the Koken office is doing here now. Since I got some time.
I know this is Alma's first time in this area, so I'm gonna go sightseeing.
In this area, Maro knows. Does Kira live in this area or no? Does
She lives just southeast of the town. She's not very far. Your village isn't very far outside of the Somar Villa
Okay.
walls.
okay? Not sure if he would go visit her right now or no. It's actually. Everybody else make this. So I'll think of something while everybody else is choosing.
Okay.
Sorry.
Bless you.
Yeah, as soon as I know what everybody is doing, we'll start going through people. Rael and Father Anderson.
How long until the ball?
How long into the ball? Looking up at the sky, you got here at the afternoon, so I will roll you a d4 for how long it is until nightfall. 2 hours.
Ryan wants to find the finest inn he can and set up there with some good wine and start scribing his spell.
Okay. So the nicest inn is going to be a tavern in the middle of, near the center part of the city, around the Nakert Manor. It's going to be one called the Naked Ininia. Alright.
Classy.
So Rael heads to the central part of the city.
I'm gonna follow Rael with Gimple and.
Okay. Alma, you go sightseeing. Where do you want to go? I
I'm
can.
just kind of meandering around the town. I also invite basically everyone if they want to come with me. If they.
Okay. The city is shaped like a diamond. So I'm going to just roll you a d4 as far as to what district you go to, unless you want to tell me someplace specific.
No.
Okay.
Just pick a direction at random. That's Alma.
Yeah, we'll go with him.
Let's see. East, south. Okay, you are heading south through the center of the city. So you'll be with the party for the first half of their shenanigans. And Father A.
Father A. Father A. Father A. Father A. Father A. Father A. Father A. Father A. Father A. Father A. Father A. Father A. Father A. Father A. Father A. Father A. Father A. Father A. Father A. Father A. Father A. Father A. Father A. Father A. Father A. Father A. Father A. Father A. Father A. Father A. Father A. Father A. Father A. Father A. Father A. Father A. Father A. Father A. Father A. Father A. Father A. Father A. Father A. Father A. Father A. Father A. Father A. Father A. Father A. Father A. Father A. Father A. Father A. Father A. Father A. Father A. Father A. Father A. Father A. Father A. Father A. Father A. Father A. Father A. Father A. Father A. Father A. Father A. Father A. Father A. Father A. Father A. Father A
Scribe to spell means, like, we're just sitting around, right? Wait, can you hear me?
Yeah, yes,
Rael's doing.
I can hear you. That's what Rael's doing.
Cool, I'm gonna go do that. That sounds nice. It's
Okay,
nothing.
cool. So Celebris. Oh, he's heading to the Calcan office. I remember. My brain stopped working. Calcan office is on the west side of the city. Okay, so we will handle the majority of the party first, and then we'll handle Celebris. So, heading to the central part of the city. As you guys are... You head to the city, or the central part, but you are in the northwestern part of the central city, because the center of the city is occupied by the Nakart Manor, which is a series of stretching towers and cathedrals, all built into each other, and then those four towers of the Ascended, and the whole city is built around the Nakart Manor. And it is a walled establishment in the middle, so any central part of the city is the central around the Nakart Manor. So you're on the northeast, or northwest road, walking around this manor. And as you come to one of the town squares that leads into the servants' gates of the Nakart Manor, the whole party is going to be confronted by a sight of probably maybe 400 people kneeling in supplication. There are carriages around, and different merchants set up. They are selling symbols of the Four Ascended. They are all kneeling towards the Naked Ininia, the tavern, on this part of the town. And at the doorway, there's a line of about 15 people waiting to go inside. They are the ones standing. There is a walkway between the kneeling supplicants, where you can walk up to the door of the tavern. But you see this as you're coming down the road.
Rael wants to just get close to the crowd and try and not go all the way in, but just hear some things and try and figure out what's going on without making himself noticed.
Okay. Roll me a perception check. Okay. Yes. Rael is going to pull off from the party, walk to one of the nearby buildings, lean on it, and then just kind of listen to a person praying, kneeled down by a cart. The person has their head pressed to the floor, and they are saying, "Gracious Father, ever-living hero of our nation, with a brave heart I come to you, that you may show me the way, that I might find my path. I request this of you with absolute devotion. O Savior of our nation, support me with your glorious mercy and divine power." As Rael listens, he hears more and more of these prayers. You get the sense they're praying to a god.
He'll pass that message on to everyone else. Is it Gale Song or the Fifth Ascended?
Be pretty bold for close to 400 people to be supplicating themselves outside an inn in terms of a heretic. Then again, where I'm from, it's less bold and more a cause for arrest, so... It'd have to be most likely Gale Song. I don't see why a bunch of people would supplicant. I don't see why they'd be kneeling for Valrir. Like, his bed doesn't move.
Should we go find out?
Sure, I haven't given Kira sass in like 2 weeks.
All right, you walk up to the inn.
Yes.
The people at the front door are going to tell you. It's going to say the Skyfather is currently in council with a follower.
Who's the Skyfather?
The person second in line says, "Why, the greatest ascendant of them all, the first. Blessed be his glorious name. He's the one who saved our nation." The next one calls
I'm
out.
well aware who Kira's Matthew is. Let me in.
They're gonna look at you and say, "It was his command to wait outside in supplication."
Dumont at that towers over.
Dumont, you don't have to intimidate them. I have a wild guess that he's not in there.
Do you open the door?
Yes.
They're gonna look at you and they raise their hands and just step back. As the indoor opens, the inside of the Naked Aninia is well lit with torches. The entire tavern, from which you can see, seems empty. There is a person working the bar. They are preparing a tray of food. As the door opens, you hear a voice call to you and says, "I'm not seeing any followers right now. Go outside and continue to pray."
And at that, Dumont says, "Well, good thing I'm not a follower," and he just walks in.
Oh,
did
God,
I
this is worse!
Dumont, did I give you an offer on that bet? Because I owe you a gold, I think.
Stepping in through the entranceway and turning to... Ooh, actually... as you step in... I'm assuming Dumont's leading the way.
I assumed I was leading the way.
Okay. I will give Father Anderson a dexterity check. Or dexterity save with an advantage.
Bolted. 14. Getting lightning bolted.
Alright, you step around the corner, looking back at Demont. It's like, Demont, you owe me, and you are going to trip over somebody who is kneeling here at the doorway. The person is going to squeal as you trip over them. And I'm not going to rule you guys deal any damage.
Can I catch him?
Yes, you can, but I feel like Dumont's kind of in that same situation of just walking in behind him. So you're not tripping, because you see Father A start tripping and you go to grab him. You can catch him. Roll me I'll allow it as a dexterity save, but do roll it with disadvantage. But Dumont is wise enough to not keep walking forward as, Father A is. But it's that moment of somebody's falling on intentionally. And it's oh, I got him! And then now you're falling. But let's see, what is that roll? Yeah, 20! It's a 12. Oh! Yeah, Dumont's gonna go to grab Father Anderson, missing him. And Father Anderson is going to stumble and be prone. Alright, all attacks against Father Anderson have advantage. This is what I've been waiting for.
Now roll for initiative.
I'm kidding.
Oh, quick! God damn it, he should be able to end it quick!
Knelt on the floor. You are going to see the colors of the Renopal Surreal House. Rachia has been knocked over to the side as she looks up at you and says, Kneel! She goes back into supplication, pressing her forehead against the ground.
First of all, I'm sorry, Lady Rachia, that I ran into you. Ooh, but I'm not going to... This is the closest he's gonna get to me kneeling.
Looking up in the rest of the inn, in front of the stage, there is a table set up. It seems that Galesong is dining and talking to a child.
Yeah, my child.
Grandchild.
Whatever. Semantics.
He is going to look over at you and say, "Damn the lot of you! What?" Oh wait, I should probably pull up his portrait too.
I came to see my young ward.
He is going to look at Reyna and point to her.
Not.
And Galesong looks towards her and says, "Really? You threw in with a lot of him?" She's gonna nod and say, "Well, when you disappeared, I didn't know where to go. It was the Kalkin. They protected me." He's gonna shake his head and say, "You got a knack for picking bad company, kid."
Dumont's gonna lean over to. Wait, is Father A still on the?
Yeah, I haven't gotten up yet.
Yeah, I'm assuming he is.
I'm like sitting like that knee up like kind of deal where it's like I've composed myself. I just haven't stood up.
Do you know this gentleman?
Allow me to introduce the first descendant of Ardor, the Sky Father, Lord of Storms, Kyrus Matthew, Galesong, the Ascendant of Winds. Asshole.
Alright, yeah, when you say that, he's childish. He's gonna say, "Takes one to know one."
Hey, Brandon,
Yeah.
do I know that that's God?
You can pick
yeah.
up on that because I use the term Ascended.
Yeah, Father Anderson just told you. And it's no secret he's returned. He helped out Ardor when the Ghost Storm opened. So he's been in the region. It's you've been hearing rumors that he's back. If he doesn't look much like a god to you, but I mean, if there are, hundreds of people kneeling outside and Father Anderson said so, could be.
Is he dressed as a warrior, or is he dressed as a vagabond? How is he?
Yeah, he would be dressed as a he would be dressed as an adventurer. He's got the skills and capabilities of a fighter and a knight. But yeah, he'd have half plate on, and a cloak thrown over it, and definitely warm traveling clothes. It's the ending of, or rather, it's the start of spring, which means it's still incredibly cold from the end of winter.
Anyways, finally
at that, Demont's gonna go, "Hot damn! I get to talk to a god," and he's going to walk over, trying to avoid all of the people that are kneeling in front of him.
Inside of this tavern, it's just Rachia kneeling.
He'll step over Rachia gingerly so he doesn't hurt her, and go, and he's just gonna sit down with them.
Before you get to the table, he's gonna brush a hand towards you and say, "If you want a prayer, you're gonna have to do some kneeling and praying and supplication. I'm not distributing out miracles today."
Don't need a miracle.
Looks at Galesong, looks at Rachia, looks back at Galesong, looks back at Rachia, scoffs loudly. She's her mother.
He's going to look over at her and say, "She stole my personal journal. She has some repentance to do. Rachia plants her face again to the ground and says, I'm sorry, I didn't... Well, I did know it was yours, but I didn't know you were looking for it.
Raina stole that journal. Well, I'm sorry. I guess she didn't steal it because you gave it to her and it's your journal. But I think you lose property rights after 1,500 years. Also, I'm now going to stand up.
Roll me a persuasion check.
Oh no, I'm bad at these.
Gilsong's gonna look over at Rachia and then say, I could be persuaded to forgive her, but this is more fun. You haven't paid penance yet. Again, Rachia's gonna say, I'm sorry!
Dumont's just gonna go and sit down with him, and he's gonna take out his hip flask and slide it over and say, "Would you like some wine?"
He is going to look at the tavern keep who's preparing a meal for him and say, she's been feeding me well since I've been here.
Well, you're a god, so it's not like she's going to try and chimp you on the food.
Mm-hmm.
And then, with that, Dumont's going to say, "Suit yourself," and take a swig of his Phoenix's blood's.
Gilsong is going to stand up. Well, no, I guess he's not going to stand up. He's at least going to entertain you guys for a second. So as I guess everybody's coming in, does Marrow come over to the table?
Oh wait, are we with them? I thought we were exploring.
Oh, I'm sorry. So the party, I forgot.
Rael's the only other one with us.
Yeah, so Marrow and Alma do see this because you guys were heading southwards and you saw this on the same thoroughfare of all of these hundreds of people kneeling. You can choose to go in or you can choose to keep exploring. But at the time the party figured out what was happening and walked inside, you were with them. But you can choose not to go inside.
I choose not to go inside. I've already seen him. I fought with him. I know what he's capable of.
Okay. Alright, does Rael... does Marrow go inside? And then my next question is, what is Rael doing? After I get Marrow's answer. Wolf, if you're talking, I can't hear you. Your mic is muted. So we'll come back to Marrow, and...
Marrow's gonna stick with Alma. He's not good with too many crowded people. He's already encountered one person that's mad at him. He'd rather have somebody...
Oh, hey, man, I met somebody from my past that doesn't like me either.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a daily occurrence for you.
Alright, and...
No, I was gonna say it's a daily occurrence for Marrow, so, yeah.
And, Rael. What is Rael doing?
Does he know the correct greeting for a god? Like, majesty? Honor, grace? Lordship? Worship?
Your grace would be sufficient.
Or
your holiness.
Yeah, he'll step around.
You treat him like the Pope, basically.
And he'll bow fairly deeply in your holiness, and look for a table which is a fair way away and sit down there and listen in on everything, but start scribing a spell.
Okay. As Father Anderson and who else sat at the table? Dumont. Sit down. Gilsong is going to look at them and say, he doesn't recognize Dumont. And he's going to point to Dumont and say, who'd you drag into your schemes now?
I don't like co-conspirators. You know, they have... They're witnesses. However, I've gained a new acquaintance here in Lord Dumont. Shafe Dumont. I don't remember all of your titles, Dumont.
And that Dumont is going to look at Gelsong, and he is going to say, "Your Lordship, I am Shafe Dumont, the Fate Lord, the Viscount of Aveline, the Shiplord of Greyford Bay, vassal to the Himdalian nobility, and almost my grandnana's favorite grandchild."
He's
That last one necessary.
the tavern keeps gonna bring over a tray of food and another bottle of wine. He pours a cup and pushes it towards you, and he's gonna say, "That's a mouthful." He looks up over to Father Anderson and says, "You hear somebody got to Alice. Somebody from the circle probably knew she said too much."
Well, I don't know about that. But I don't know a lot about that. I know that somebody got to Alice. She died not an hour after I visited her.
He puts down his cup and says, "What did you do?"
I didn't do anything. God, you sound like her before she died.
He
He thinks all I do is get into trouble.
Dumont's going to say he got arrested.
I'm being formally charged with treason.
And I suppose that's why you're here, hoping the God of Storms can clear your name?
No, I'm here to see Reyna before I'm executed.
Actually, his name's already been cleared. I'm not here.
He legitimately starts laughing, just... The gallows gonna take you to see that goddess of yours, eh?
Well, no, probably not. But that's because, for some reason, the magnate likes me, and she's technically the one that has to judge my guilt. So odds are I'll just be stripped of my titles, and I get to go live in retirement in Gelkin.
He's going to nod and say, well, you'll be happy to know I found and unfortunately had to dispatch of 3 more members of Alice's circle. I think that's the last of them.
Alice said that there was another circle forming. One that she wasn't a part of.
He is gonna grimace and say, well, whatever they're doing, they've gone quiet again. Hopefully for another 200 years or so.
I don't know about that.
Whatever she was doing in this city, she didn't leave it in any writing.
Well, she didn't have to leave it in writing. It's currently thrashing about inside of our magnate. Baby.
He leans forward with an eyebrow and raised.
Under the guise of protection when the Ghost Storm Force Storm, you remember that night when we became friends. Alice implanted upon Ariana a spell that was designed to keep her from being possessed, but what she did was possess her with a fragment of a soul. A soul, I believe, belongs to whatever demon entity they worship.
So, you're telling me our magnate is carrying around a possessed demon baby?
Yes, and if you really want to be possibly more upset about this, I almost made it Reyna's sister.
You know what I hate about you? Every time...
I think you'd save your breath if you told me what you liked.
You know what? He's gonna stop and think for a moment. And he's gonna say, look, your motives are on the table. That's it.
See? Told you, a lot easier.
He's gonna stand up and run his hand over Reyna's hair, messing it up. Reyna's going to swat him away, and he's gonna say, "Are you happy with her?" Reyna's going to nod enthusiastically. He looks over and says, "Lady Renalpaw Surreal." Rachia does not look up. She says, "Yes, Your Grace." He responds, "Your sins are forgiven." She looks up with a shifting expression of tears and a smile. It's that very weird that very weird zone of just like happy sadness. And he's gonna raise his hands like, "Don't start crying now." He looks back to Dumont and Anderson and says, "Alright, so now I'm gonna go to the city and I have to get Umiya to try and cleanse our magnate, and then I'm gonna get lectured for who knows how many days about the responsibility of a god to his followers and..."
Oh, you have one of those too.
He nods and says, "And I'm not looking forward to it."
Luckily, they put mine in jail. But she's about to get out.
He's gonna look at you and say, "You really are an awful person."
Yeah, you know, I gotta be honest. You just sound exactly like Ayla. At least she had the decency to be cute.
He's going to grimace with an angry smile on his face, and then he's gonna say, "You know what? I'm gonna smite you. Yep, you're being smited." He walks to the door and opens it.
Dumont is going to slide a little bit further from... Not say anything, continue drinking, but...
You hear a booming voice over the crowd say, "Followers of my holy name, each supplicant, your prayers have been heard. I have appointed the voice of the Stormfather himself, Father Anderson, Knight of the Magnate, speaks on my behalf. Approach him with your petitions and your supplicants and your prayers, and he will grant you a blessing of my will." Galeson begins
I've ever heard.
walking out. You hear a cacophony of feet shuffling. What's Dumont doing?
Dumont's going to give Father Anderson a little bow and say, "You're..." in kind of a mocking tone.
Rachia is going to stand up, rising and walking to the table, and she's going to say, "Do you really think it's wise to She gets to that before about 30 people swarm into the tavern, more fighting to get through the door. The first person starts pushing towards your table and says, "Oh, I come from a village outside of the Kalu province, and Another person gets shoved out of the way and says, "I'm looking for a blessing on a harvest this year. If you could ensure that rainfall..." That person gets pushed out of the way.
Look, nobody is getting any blessings if you can't behave yourself.
There is... That doesn't get heard over the sheer amount of people trying to get your attention. Eventually, your table is surrounded by...
At that, before that gets to that, Dumont's going to shake his head, and he's going to stand up and tower over those people, and he's going to say, "Soldiers, in line, now, and he's going to take his halberd out and slam the butt of it down. And anybody that gets near, he's going to brandish the halberd at them.
The people are gonna like look up at Dumont, and the first couple are gonna stop shoving each other. The third person.
Anybody that doesn't listen, that gets close, Dumont's gonna hit him with the butt end of the halberd.
The third person who spoke is going to fix his clothes. The other two get behind him. A line starts forming. He is going to adjust himself and say, I am a...
like a finger to like pause him? Because Raina's still sitting here, right?
She is. Well, I mean, at this point, her and Raichia are both on the table with Dumont. Because your table was swarmed. As the people start forming a line, they will get off.
I'm sorry. Lady Renapol, Raina dear, if you want, you can go sit with Rael. He loves to teach people about magic, so Raina will probably love him.
Yeah, they're gonna look at you, and then she's gonna say, well, we were summoned here by Kiris. I'm going to take her back to the Nakart mansion, and that's where we've been staying since we've been in town.
Well, then, I wish you safe travels, and provided these people don't pick my bones clean, I will see you later tonight at the ball.
Alright. She is going to bow just very slightly, as you are both nobility. Raina is going to...
Consort Regan of Ardor for like 12 minutes. If anything, I should bow to her.
Fair.
Which I will.
I mean, it's just a very courteous, like, nod. It's barely even a bow. But Raina is going to walk away holding her hand and waving enthusiastically. The crowd of people... I guess they'd let her out, thinking, she's probably like a supplicant and her guards would be outside. Alright, we can just fast forward this. Does Father Anderson just listen to who he can and helps who he can?
Yeah, basically.
Alright, you have no official capacity to bless people, but I will say you can roll me a intelligence check. Of just like, as people are asking you for stuff, of just like, I know a person in Ardor who might be able to help you with this or this. And that will just determine about like how many of these... okay, yeah. So, you're gonna get
I am my deity's greatest follower.
You're gonna get you're gonna get about 20% of these people who are coming to you, like, hooked up with a name or somebody who can help them with the problem they're facing. And this is going to take you the better part of these 2 hours. Does Dumont want to do anything before we jump over to Alma and...
Dumont is basically enforcing the line.
Okay.
And any of them that stand out is going to get the worst. Because if he doesn't, Father Anderson will not get to the ball.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, is that big a deal? I think this trip has already been a win-win. I got to see Raina. I technically mentioned why I wanted to see Raina, and I got to sass the hell out of Kiris.
Alright.
I think he won that exchange, though.
Oh, he did. That was a big power move.
Like, I'm going to smite you. Hey, everyone! This guy will listen to all your requests on my behalf.
He's passing out blessings. Just head on over.
I'm heading out wings!
It was a win for Dumont, too. He got to drink with the god, and he got to be the right hand of God's mouthpiece, so...
The holiest of honor.
I just became a vessel for Galesong's will. Does that get me kicked off the boat?
Who knows? Maybe.
If you're lucky.
I've committed the greatest heresy today. What have I done?
Alright,
You know what? I think your god would appreciate the amount of just your...
The fact they give him so much shit.
Just the fact you called him on so much shit without giving a single damn.
Hey, look, you're pretty good at this fighting thing, and that earns you a spot on the boat. But you know what? Just in case that we needed a tiebreaker, thanks for all that smoke you gave Gale. So fuck that guy, right?
I mean, Rachita doesn't even believe he's a god, but she still had the respect to kneel.
I've met the man. I don't have respect for shit.
Alright.
What is that?
Let's jump over to Alma and Marrow. I'm just gonna roll you a percentage die if you encounter anything interesting on the south side.
Alright.
I
We
feel
definitely
like
made the right decision, I feel.
like
I don't know, you missed. I've said I missed this.
I'm glad Marrow missed this, because I know Marrow would not handle that well.
It's like,
I think
no!
it's probably a good call you missed it, Anthony, because Celerus would be like, oh man, it wasn't a Genenzel circle, it was Grax.
Oh my god.
Group C
know,
gets
you
a new villain.
I love the fact that I've somehow avoided revealing Grax's secret again.
I don't even think so much that you're doing it out of like a favor to him. It's just it never comes up for you to be like, oh yeah, it was those guys.
Oh, by the way, actually, it was these guys over here.
Like if you get prodded, you're just gonna spill the beans, but nobody brings it up.
Keeping it secret because no one asked for it.
It's the Roman Drake defense.
Alright, so, Alma and Marrow.
Yep.
I think, Jackal, you weren't here for the very first session of this campaign.
This one, no, but I mean, like, I've
Okay,
been
so it was-
before as Dusty.
Yeah, it was just Marrow. So Marrow's the only one that's going to have this information. As you are headed to the south side of town, Marrow, you are going to notice in the marketplace a merchant is loading some stuff onto a cart. What looks very the items that they're loading don't come to your memory. The merchant's face does. If you remember in that very first campaign, or the very first episode of the campaign we did, and you met with Jami in that alleyway, he tried to assure you guys of the Silver Sigil's oh my gosh, that word just escaped me. Commitment to the task you were trying to undertake, and he revealed all 20 of the agents he had working in this region. You are going to recognize this woman. You're going to recognize her face as one of the members of the Silver Sigil, although you don't know who she is. She has a ruby amulet on, and she's loading barrels onto a cart with another man.
I don't recognize the other man, I just recognize the woman.
Yeah, you definitely recognize her face.
Ah, boy. I'm debating on what Meryl would do in this scenario. Damn it. Meryl is going to walk up and ask the woman, "Do you need help?"
She looks up at you and is going to say, well, she doesn't recognize you. She's gonna look up at you and say, no, it's a day's labor.
What you got over here?
The man on the cart taking the barrels from her as she's lifting him, is gonna say, Lilnagian alchemical supplies. Dangerous stuff it is. She's going to nod and say, yeah. Place it wrong, scrape it in the wrong place, a spark could ignite this whole carriage. She lifts
Inside, are they bullshitting me here?
I'm gonna... Yeah, I agree on that.
Or are they just trying to make it sound impressive? Like, oh yeah, no, this is super dangerous.
No, man, that sludge is what fucking toppled that building on us.
That's a 6.
You're not really certain.
I'll just take their word for it. It's like, okay.
Marrow, I mean, yeah, this stuff is burning your nose, just sniffing it a little bit. If you've ever had wasabi, it like burns at your senses, almost like bleach or some like type of cleaner would. Explosive isn't a term explosive or flammable isn't a term used much in Ilderon, but you assume it's like its properties are probably like unstable.
And what is this used for?
The man
Peeling
is
paint? It's like stretching up the nose. Like, is it used for peeling paint or what?
the man's gonna say, well, I'm taking it north through the capital to Gwir. You could ship along the rivers. It's a little bit safer, but by caravan's cheaper. Takes a little longer. I make my money where I can.
I know what's going on. Oh, lords.
I guess the question is, leave it and let it be someone else's problem, or?
No, it's... I think I know what's going on, and it's just... I'm not sure. I'm trying to kind of help with... Is there any way I could hint to her that I know who she works with without outright stating it to her? Or outright stating it?
Do you know thieves can't?
Roll me. I will give you either a history or arcana check.
Both of the same thing.
Yeah, either of those would reveal information. I'm gonna put it at DC 15. It is hard. Hitting it, exactly. Okay, so you remember from that conversation that Kytrina Elslore, the Kelkin Sentinel, had in the first session when she was talking to Jami? She said or actually I think it was Makana who said it to you. But anyways, you picked up this information. She said every silver sigil person is marked with a tattoo that can magically reveal their nature. They didn't ever describe the mark to you, but maybe if you could probably draw notice to a tattoo, or make mention of it without directly mentioning, like, hey, tattoos denote us as part of secret organizations. Like, maybe I always like how marks in my village, like, denote what family clan you're from.
Yeah.
Or something like that, of, like, drawing information on that line. She might pick up on it.
Marrow's going to state, it's a funny thing about symbols. They can have quite a lot of meanings, especially if you have them permanently branded.
What?
The woman is going to shake her head as she ties another one of these barrels to the pulley system to pull it into the cart, and she's going to say, well, we just bought these barrels in an encampment over in the west. None of them are branded with anything, but we'll get the proper sigils on them. Should we have to take them through any customs area? She winks at you.
Okay, he'll nod.
Does Alma pick up on this?
What's Alma know about the silver sigil?
I was there for that conversation.
I'll give it to you, and the same thing, a hard check. Arcana, no, for this it's going to be history only for you.
Okay. No.
What are they talking about?
Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I wish you both a very safe journey. Then.
She's going to nod and say, "Well, we won't be leaving the capital until morning. Just keeping the wagon safe for now."
That's probably a good idea, considering recent events that have happened.
Alright, if you guys move on, you can continue to explore. There are a bunch of pretty sights inside of Somar Villa. I will say you guys get to familiarize yourselves with the layout of the town.
Out of curiosity, which side of Somar Villa is Marrow's tribe directed? Because I know
Southwest.
it was just so southwest. Okay.
Yes. Alright. And Celebris, headed to the Kalkin office, and then we'll fast forward through the rest of these 2 hours. You are going to find the Kalkin office is doing well in recruitment. Let's see. They have gained 4 new members since you were last here. However, the monk that was training everybody, the legendary fighter, what was his name? Lawrence
Palantir.
Yeah, I was thinking Lawrence Stellantir, but yeah, Palantir. Yeah, he has left the property.
He was leaving there, so that's not surprising.
And the steward of this place, I forgot her name. Let's see. I don't want to search through all of my NPC pages for it, so I'm going to refer to her as the stewardess for now, and I will look it up later in the session when I have time in between roleplay, and I will send it to you. But yeah, the stewardess is going to be leading you through the grounds, and they have hired a mercenary in town to teach the new recruits sword and spear play, which are the 2 most common weapons used in the Kalkin.
Ooh, that sounds like fun. How much time before the party?
For you, about an hour and a half.
Alright, can I spend 45 minutes or so either sparring with him or helping train with the train the recruits with him?
Yeah, definitely. The woman is, or rather, the stewardess is going to tell you that the recruits have mostly been reading, as it's only been 2 days, I think, since... It's only been 2 days that they have been out. Yeah, I think it's only been 2 days since Lawrence has been out. I have to look at my Group C card. But the swordplay instructor has just arrived today. In his absence, it's Johan's just been teaching them. Has just been teaching them about the philosophies and the magical knowledge necessary to be a Kalkin Sentinel.
Is Johan there?
Is Johan here? Let's roll you a evens or odds.
Can we say no because Jordan isn't in my apartment right now?
More of the point, Johan hasn't actually seen me since I died.
I rolled you a evens or odds. He is not there. But Johan is in Somar Villa. The stewardess informs you. However, the swordplay instructor is a woman by the name of Flun. As you step into the sparring grounds, you're going to see the woman that you saw with the greatsword on her back. And she's going to see you step up. And I don't think she recognizes Celebris, but she doesn't have like any ill beef against you. Yeah, so you can spend time sparring with her, and I think it would be easiest if we do this as a contested athletics check. So roll me a d20 and add your athletics modifier to it, and then we will see. All right, so. You go head to head with Flun, sparring with her before you help train the recruits. Flun is incredibly competent and incredibly good at what she does. I guess she wouldn't spar with you like with an actual sword, but just using like a dueling cane or something. She is a master of swordplay. As an NPC, her competence rolled up a 10 out of 10. She bests you in a round of sparring before helping you out, or helping you up, and then you each taking on. I think there's a total of 7 recruits here. All right. Are you okay with me fast forwarding, or did you?
Absolutely. That's fine.
Okay. All right. It is the night of the It is the night of the 29th. Yes.
During the fast forward, Mero would, just so that we would get this out of the way, Mero would tell Alma about his real name. Just as a side note of what happened. We don't need to RP that, it's just that it happened.
The party is able to meet up in the northwestern central part of the central part of town, but the northwestern gateway leading into the manor. Father A has gotten through all of the supplicants, doing what he can for each one. Rael was able to get 2 hours of scribing put towards his spell. And, of course, the events that happen with each individual person have been tended to. There are a wealth of people filing into the open gates of the Nakart Manor. Lots of nobles arriving on carriages or horseback. Following the moving masses, you are able to go to the large theater and event hall that the Nakarts have on their property. As you follow the concourse and each noble or individual gets out of their carriage or dismounts their horse and a stable boy takes it, you are able to walk down the gala hallway, the hallway that leads into, or the hall that leads into the entrance of this theater. There are about 100 soldiers lining, 100 bannermen lining this hallway, or this hall on either side. They all have the Nakart's banner, which is that rose wrapped around a sword. At some point I will illustrate it electronically, so I don't have to keep showing the note card. Yeah, and stepping in here, each person going through the huge entranceway into the feast hall is going to be questioned by a group of servants before they produce a document. Of course, when the party gets to the front, the steward, who is Viadam, is going to recognize you all. Viadam Raph is going to bow, over almost exaggeratedly so, and say, "The Knights of the Magnate, you are welcome without invitation." And the party is able to walk by into the chambers.
That was unusually easy.
Well, you guys have a reputation here. You guys
Yeah,
almost...
that's what I thought would stop us.
You guys almost committed conspiracy and treason with Lethalia, but she was too much of a patriot to indulge you.
And then I killed Marcus anyway.
Then you committed treason and conspiracy without her.
You have to realize, Alma, we don't piss off every single person. Just
Sure about that.
Just like 90%.
Most of it seems to be Mara with common people, and then really powerful divine entities. It's Father A.
Hey. Anna likes me.
That's fair, but really powerful entities still are on that list.
why is
And I also
Anna a powerful ender?
Well, that's not in
Divine
character.
entity.
All right.
I would never divulge that in person.
As you step into this feast hall, there is the huge set of 4 long tables in the back of it, where with enough space to seat nearly 200 people. Different nobles are gathered in groups sitting at the tables as servants are feeding them. Food is laid out all over these tables. Halfway through the feast hall, the tables stop, and there is a large dance floor in front of a stage where a set of musicians are performing. People have gathered into groups and are dancing on the dance floor. Overlooking all of this is a second story with a balcony that wraps around the second floor, so that you can see from the first floor all the way to the ceiling of this building. There are hundreds of people on the second balcony. And on the second floor balcony, there are towering stained glass windows that go up about 30 feet, each with a different depiction of the an ascended god on it. What other description do I need to give you? Oh yeah, everything's stone. And the last thing, above the stage, there is a small alcove that overlooks this ball. That said, there are hundreds of people around you. Ever so often somebody brushes your shoulder. Everybody in Somar Villa is fantastically dressed, woven in silks and elegant robes and military outfits.
Man, I think Mara's sticking out like a sore thumb right now.
Everyone but Alma is almost the only one in formal wear. Why did you guys not change before we came here?
I'm sure.
I have fine clothes. Who says I'm not wearing my fine clothes?
Yeah, if you change, you can just state within the 2 hours you changed. Like, that's perfectly fine.
Mara doesn't have a change of fancy clothes.
I'm not gonna make you guys roleplay taking off and putting on clothes.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of It's kind of weird to think about the first time I met Joseph was here. And now we're here to report about his end.
The fact that we murdered him in, well, justifiably cold blood, but you know, still.
He doesn't bleed, he's a vampire.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's their problem, isn't it?
But don't you see the weird irony of this, Anderson?
Everything's cyclical.
That's fair.
That's what you use to kill him.
It's true. With a sickle.
Oh, by the way, people don't bring weapons to the ball. All of the weapons you see that people have are oath blades of either daggers, rapiers, or long swords worn at the seeking or found suitor position.
Mm.
The party can choose to bring their weapons. It's just very informal.
Mero's has all
I'll disarm.
Mero's disarmed. He's just put all of his weapons in his bag of holding. He just has the bag of holding on his back or hip, wherever it is.
Yeah, Dumont isn't going to if he can't help it to just.
When I disarm, I feel like I need to make this distinction because I have an oath blade that sits in neither of the normal positions.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also would get rid of that.
I would have left the quarterstaff, but I'm keeping the Holy Avenger at my side.
Okay. I state all of that because there are some things that I wanted to point out to Mero and Rael that stick out like a sore thumb. So, of course, everybody here who does have a weapon, it's an oath blade, which is, this country's tradition, marriage tradition of you give an oath blade to somebody that you want to court. And they're traditionally worn on the waist, on one side if you're seeking a suitor, or on another side if an oath blade was given to you. There is a woman here with a spear on the second floor. She is looking down at the band. Her spear is leaned on the railing. Of course, she sticks out like a sore thumb because she has a weapon. Mero and Rael are both going to recognize her as Sindal, the member of the Kalkin that you sent to guard Reyna. And there was one more person that was sticking out.
Brandon.
I don't remember them though. Yes.
Just so I'm... Silverus has a passive of 20. Does he notice this as well?
Yes, Celebrus would too.
Mero would look out, trying to see if he can find Kiro as one of the few places he's looking out for at the moment.
Roll me a perception check. You are also on the hard scale. There are lots of people around.
That's fair.
Doesn't he know her scent?
There's a lot of sense in here, man.
Yeah, whenever she's within 60 feet. You are going to be able to see Kiro. She is another one of those figures that is kind of standing out. Remember I said there were two types of people here? All of the nobles are in robes and elegant dresses. People in a military uniform would be wearing trousers with like a buttoned-up jacket or coat. She is in a group of people. She is wearing a elegant blue dress. However, she is surrounded by people in the I forgot the Royal Army. I think they're blue and white. People in these blue and white trousers and coats. She is engaged in conversation with them. You are able to see her. She is near the dance floor, under the balcony.
Alright.
Okay, so you head off there. What's everybody else want to do?
I'm gonna follow Marrow because I want to make sure he doesn't say anything stupid.
Mara would never.
It's probably better that way. The last time one of our companions came to see Lady Makehart and said something stupid, she grabbed them and literally threw them out the door.
Yeah, well, you know, honestly speaking, Lance has had more longer-reaching effects with other people pissed off than Lethalia, so...
Oh, this sounds like a conversation for later. I want to say hi to Reyna. I haven't seen her since I've come back.
No, you missed it this afternoon.
Oh, I didn't know you ran into her.
Dumont's on the prowl. He's gonna try and find a good-looking,
Brock is
good-looking.
being played by Lord Shafe Dumont.
Yeah, he's gonna try
Get
and
out your
find
phone, get that peeper's place.
He's gonna try and find an attractive single lady.
Okay.
I just imagine, would all the single ladies please raise your hand?
No,
If you
there's
like
the
it,
oath
you should have
blade.
put an oath blade on it.
Let's
Rye
have
wants to.
Sorry, go
Rye
ahead.
wants to socialize, so he'll get spread around as many people as he can, listening in on conversations, particularly anything to do with Tristan. And he'd also like to try and find a buyer for those magical items they got recently.
Okay.
I would go with Celebrus because Reyna would be with Rachia, and Rachia should wife. And wife is who to talk to.
JV, does Dumont know that you peddle magic?
Yeah, it's the main way Rye introduces himself, so yes, you would.
Dumont's gonna ask him if he also does mundane, and say, I saved that bow. Do you think we could get some coin?
Yeah, not here.
Fair enough.
Let's see.
The bow she broke was not the +1 bow, by the way. It was Marrow's starting off bow.
Yeah.
I'm aware of that. I said mundane, so.
Okay.
There was a conversation happening between Celebrus and Father Anderson. I'm going to say we pick up from there and let them keep conversating. And if they don't have any more to say, you guys can discuss amongst yourselves as a party what your goals are at this ball. I normally don't do this, but I do need to use the restroom real quick. I've been chugging water like crazy. And I'll be right back.
Dumont's gonna follow you, Ryle. He's not going to get in your business. He's just gonna shadow you and look for single ladies.
Okay.
So you wanted to know about my run-in with Reyna?
Yeah, I didn't realize you had run into her today.
I mean, my alternative motive.
Oh, you missed all the
Marrow
supplements.
was just like I wanted to be introduced to
Kiro.
Kira, yeah,
But you missed
And
all the
make-
supplicants, didn't you?
and they make fun of Marrow for it. No.
Your supplicants.
There were a large gathering of people outside of a very nice inn, praying to the Sky Father. 3 guesses who that was.
So I missed a good show, apparently.
I mean, you've seen me interact with Kiris before.
Once, no, twice, but if I recall, the first time didn't end too well.
This one didn't end too great either.
So I'm hearing.
He, made me his vessel.
What did you do?
I gave him a lot of sass.
I don't know which one of you two is more petty.
No, definitely me, but he does it better.
I am back, by the way.
He made me his voice for the voiceless people, miracles and help, lined up and had to deal with me.
Yeah, he got you good this time.
Oh, he did.
Speaking of which, people are kind of eyeballing Father Anderson as you're here. Occasionally you see one or two of the people you helped out today. That said, let's see. Oh, Father Anderson and Celebris were going to see Reyna, which I assume you guys are going to Sindel because you can see where she is.
I mean, that would be like the easiest, like.
Okay.
Most obvious, yeah.
Right, like that's my starting point. I assume it'll lead results, but.
Celebris, roll me a perception check for free.
Oh no.
Father Anderson can take the same one if he wants. But yeah. Okay, so you are going to start heading up towards the second floor. And as you do, you're going to arrive and see Sindel leaning over the banister. Let's roll a percentage die. Okay, cool. Celebris, you and Father Anderson get to the second floor. You arrive at where you saw Sindel at. She's leaning over the banister, looking down at something. Behind her, in the corner near the staircase, and between a massive, one of those massive stained glass windows, there's a table where a couple of escorts are sat at, and they are talking and laughing. You're going to notice Johann is at the table. He is talking to the dancers, and Reyna is also at the table. She is scribbling in her spell book, drawing a picture. Sindel is within shouting distance of them, although she doesn't seem to be paying them attention.
Tending to your duties, Sindel?
She looks back over her shoulder and says, "Oh yeah, Johann's watching Reyna, but nobody would dare attack her or try and grab her inside of here."
I don't think he's keeping his eye on Reyna.
She looks back at the table and sees Reyna sitting there and says, "Reyna, come on, let's go get you some food downstairs and find you somebody to talk to. I don't think this is appropriate for her at all." Johann is going to say, "What? They're Ardorians. They travel. They have stories to share." The woman
Johann,
chuckled.
You're a terrible influence on children.
Mhm.
I say with a giant smile on my face.
Johann is going to stand up in his chair. He does not get any taller. And say, "Celebris! By who's he worship?"
Dionysus, the god of hedonism.
Yeah, exactly. I'm actually going to roll he follows the given wills. And he's going to say, "By the wills? You're alive?"
Technically speaking.
Kind of.
That's a loaded question in and of itself.
Johann begins slapping the table and says, "Let me tell you, when I was a knight, this man caught a cannonball and fought one of the goddesses of death's servants head to head. She, killed him, of course, but I tell you, it was valorous." He gestures for you to join him and says, "There's two."
Something's
Jordan's
never
characters
changed, though.
bleed together.
Mm-hmm.
It's good to see you, though, my friend.
He's going to nod. He opens his arms towards you. He's not even gonna get off the chair and try and hug you because, like, you're
I'll walk
7
over.
foot tall and he's like 3.
I'll walk over, hug him while picking him up off the ground.
Yeah, he returns the embrace. Reyna and Sindel have not left yet. They're cleaning up her writing utensils.
And how are you doing, Reyna? It's been a while.
She is going to look up and say, huh? Oh, yeah, it has. Wait. So are you like one of the Ascended? Because you're back? Because, I mean,
No.
the people who worship them, they're not heathens.
I'm not an Ascended, though. In a weird way, I am Celestial at the moment, so it's kind of a weird middle ground, I guess you could say.
She's gonna nod and say, oh yeah, I learned a lot about them. They're great heroes. They die and come back, and then die and come back, and then die and come back.
No, they just die the once.
Huh.
And then they never let you hear the end of it.
She puts her hand on her chin. I thought you said it happened 4 times.
Well,
Sindel.
yeah, but see,
Okay.
it was once for each of them. There are 4 of them. So one died, one came back. Another died, they came back. Then the third one died, and they came back. And then the 4th one. Does that make sense?
Reyna is going to nod. And she says, and apparently Kyrus is one of these. He told me that today.
Yep, he's the first one.
Which I did not call him a heathen. Just
right.
like Mom said.
To be fair, Gale's song, you could call him a heathen and not be wrong. Not for the reasons you're used to, but more just because it's him.
Reyna is going to look a little confused at this.
Don't
And-
confuse her, Celebris.
And then say, okay, so the people who worship the Four Ascendant are not heathens, but he is. I think I got this.
You'll figure it out, you're smart.
Mm-hmm.
You're in our darkness, after all.
She's going to nod and say, oh, yes, I learned a new spell. She opens her book and shows it to Father Anderson. There's a half of the incantation there. There are some sigils there. Probably half of which she copied from Rael doing his work. And then there's several pictures there. The spell is likely not functional.
Can you turn Johan's hair purple again?
She turned my hair green.
She's going to flip through her book and say, oh yeah, probably. Johan puts up his hand and says, not necessary here, Reyna. We're at a party. She's going to say, yes, it's improper to cast spells on people or cast spells on people without their permission, too.
Silvers is gonna lean down and whisper in her ear, wait till after the party.
She smiles. Johan looks and says, what?
Oh, nothing.
Oh, there's would it be appropriate to say your mom?
She's
Maybe?
She's going to say, well, Anadelia just arrived today. I haven't really talked to her much. But Mom's down there on the ball floor. She points at the railing. Celebris, from the angle he can see, because he's just a massive tower of a man, you're going to see Anadelia and Rachia dancing.
There they are. Well, we can let them dance. They don't get to do it very often.
Sorry with you, Anderson.
Okay.
We'll let them dance, and I can try to catch up with Johan. I'm sure he's more than interested to hear on what the hell's been happening.
Sounds like an idea. And then I will offer my hand to Reyna, and it says, "You were looking for somebody to talk to. I was looking for good company. So, let's get you something to eat."
All right, Sindel, Reyna, and Father Anderson head down to the feast table. Celebris sits down with Johan. Johan is going to say, "So you got to tell me what was the other side like? You know, I heard a story of some adventurers came through the Kelkin office the other day. They tripped into the bridge, talked to the goddess herself, saw a banished city."
That was the group I came in with. And it wasn't just a banished city, Johan. It was Calcrest.
He is gonna hit his fist against the table and say, "I knew it! I knew it! I knew it! The quarters have been marshalling and calling for reinforcements from all the offices."
Yeah. Once I'm done with my work here, I'm going to be heading there to the main office to help.
He's gonna say, "Yeah, they've been keeping quiet lips about the story. As far as what happened." One of the women at the table is gonna look around and say, "Master Ilderon, what's Calcrest?" Johan is going to say, "You should have seen it. One of the most beautiful cities in the world. Along a cliffside. A lake fed with rivers from all over Alyan. Beautiful towering forest behind it. The breeze rolling in, you could, even though it wasn't seaside, you could still feel it on top of the hill. Smell the ocean. I miss the forests, and I miss the forests of Alyan. But it was a magnificent city. It was lost several years ago." The other woman's gonna look to Celebris and say, "All right, Mr. Bridge Traveler, what's the city like now? Should we be preparing to visit?"
Not at the moment. It's nothing that it's desolate, half destroyed, flooded. When the incident that sent it to the pocket plane it's stuck in right now happened, it trapped it in a giant prison of water. It's just nothing but rain.
The woman's smile is going to fade. Johan's gonna whisper and say, Try talking about some of the fun things you did."
Gotta watch an execution.
You want me to talk about the things I did in Kilcrest? That'll kill the mood even more.
The two women are both going to stand and say, Master Ilderon, it's been fun." They bow and begin walking away. Johan is gonna say, "Half an hour's of work down the drain there. Thanks, Celebris."
Yeah, you're welcome. You might have better luck with the new sword instructor they got down at the office. She managed to take me off my feet.
He's gonna nod and say, I don't have much time to spend at the office. I'm vampire hunting.
Speaking of which...
He says that comment kind of like perusing through the crowd, not really even paying much attention to your conversation.
Are you looking for Joseph?
He is gonna say, what? Joseph? No. I heard he's hiding somewhere in the capital.
He's dead. We just killed him last night. We're going after all of the Fang.
Man, you really know how to, like, drive a mood.
He's gonna say, well, you should know a female vampire has joined their ranks. Her name's Octavia. I've been looking for her, but you shouldn't pay her any concern. I'll find her and handle her.
I don't, but you can leave her. She was nothing but a thrall. Once Joseph was killed, she was released from his control.
Johann is going to stand up and say, really? She's got a brother in the capital. Does he know?
You missed a lot of things since you lost your titles, my friend. I've already taken care of that with Oro.
He's going to smack the table again and say, hot damn, Celebrus!
If you're looking for another vampire, I can tell you that Kelcrest is under the control of one right now. He's my main target.
He's
The Fang.
he's gonna scratch his head and say, lean in and say, well, if I had to be really honest with you, you know I'm a good sentinel, right?
One of the best I've seen.
He winks and says, I already found Octavia. Oro and I let her go. She wasn't much of a threat. We told her to head south. Stay as far away from the capital as possible. If I run into her, I'll deliver the good news. I'm not really hunting her anymore, just kind of enjoying my time off.
You want to see something cool I got out of the whole ordeal? Make taking the rest of the Fang bastards down a lot easier?
He leans back.
I'm gonna pull the Holy Avenger off my waist and set it on the table.
And it's a scimitar, right?
Mm-hmm.
He is going to look at this, pick it up and whistle and just say, this thing, well, it's built for the Chantry of Discipline. It's got Soyesa's crest on it too. A light desert blade. He turns it over twice and says, now, I don't approve of ever using these aimed at anybody. But should someone have to face the tail end of a blade, this is a mighty fine end. Speaking of which, he leans over and looks at another woman walking by.
Go get your tail. We got business we're taking care of while we're here.
He gingerly hands the blade back to you, and he's going to stand up and say, Madam, have I mentioned the Kelkins' recruitment efforts inside of Somar Villa? Do you have a minute to talk? He scurries down the staircase towards her. Alright, think about where Celebrus is going and let me know in a minute, and then I'm going to jump to another member of the party.
He's just going to be heading back down to join the rest of them. That's all.
Rael, Alma, and Mero heading to Kuro.
And Dumont.
Oh, and Dumont? Okay. And Dumont.
Dumont's following Ryle.
Okay. Heading up to Kiro, she is in a circle with several people dressed in a military outfit. Amongst them, this is the second time we're seeing a Taki braid. You're going to see Kiro standing next to a woman. She has long silver hair, and it is braided in that intricate warrior's braid. She has her hands behind her back and an oath blade at her waist. That is very elegant with gold and silver dancing around the pommel. Of the people she is talking to, are you going to recognize any of them?
I feel like if anyone would, Marrow might. If because of Marrow's history with Kiro, he might recognize, or have a higher chance of recognizing some. Considering he has hung out with her before the campaigns, or before he was introduced.
It depends. Are they like locals or are they like political?
No, these are political nobles. Because she has moved up an upper, or rather, through a upper echelon. All right.
Yeah.
So, you see Kiro, and as you join the circle, she is going to break away from it for a moment, and the portrait is not accurate anymore. I'm going to find a new one in the future that reflects her, because she's had a change. Oh, no, not Kiro. She's going to gesture to the woman she's talking to in this circle and say, "Oh, Meru." She sniffs. She looks towards the woman and says, "Allow me to introduce our newest High General of Winds, Ambassador, or High General Dardell." Nivera looks towards Marrow and nods cordially. The people that she's talking to is going to say, "Well, again, tell us what your plans are for deployment in Door Edge." She says, "Door Edge is a lost cause. At this moment, we need to focus on Arothia. Trying to defend Door Edge is just a mess. It's just a storm of chaos." Kiro is going to whisper into Marrow and say, "I'm just learning where and what troops are going to be stationed around Ardor Sarai. I didn't expect to see you here." She punches your shoulder.
No. Almo's going to step forward, like reaching out a hand, is like, "Greetings, Almo here, and ally to Lord Esterai."
Yes. I was in. Most of my group was actually planning on heading here generally, and I thought I might as well try and stop by and surprise you.
Might as well drag you here.
Nivera is going to nod and say, "Lord Esterai, I've never heard of your house before, and I'm quite well versed in Ardorian politics. I live in the capital."
Oh shit! I need to talk to her.
Yeah, you do. Because, my family happens to be. Kira happens to quite well know my family, actually. We're from the same region, to say the least.
She's going to nod and say, "Both of our houses were recently given the rank of Solsarai via High Counselor Anadelia Renopausariel, our Lady Anadelia Renopausariel." She's Nivera's going to her eyes are going to go a little wide and say, "Ah, heroes attaining the rank of nobility. And she nods respectfully to Kiro, and then again to Miro. And she's going to extend a hand and say, well, welcome to your life as a Soul Sarai. I hope that the title of nobility fits you well, and those who swear their names to your house will prosper.
He'll give a hand back and state thank you. I would almost consider Alma here as someone who's worked with my house, considering he's helped me out with a few things that I am lacking in.
Alma has just leveled up. You gained a rank of citizenship.
Oh, cool! I'm actually a citizen and not a vagabond.
I'm a person!
Well, I mean, if Mero says you work for his house, your official rank now is Soul Sworn.
Cool. I'm cool with this, actually.
Which puts you on equal level to talk to any of these military official. Soul Sworns are...
I get to treat you as a person. Congratulations, you're now just a pup.
Oh, great!
Now you're the family dog.
You just jumped up from low citizen, high citizen, peasant, farmer, and then you're on the rank of the Royal Army and Bannerman. You jumped up 4 castes.
That actually was like I went from vagabond to someone actually worth a damn. Cool. Anyway, yes. I've saved Lord Esterai's life, and as he has mine, there is no one else I'd rather fight beside.
I feel hurt.
I'm Father Anderson. You don't fight beside. You watch as Father Anderson does.
It's actually kind of amazing.
It's really amazing in a very gruesome way. He is brutally efficient.
He's like an artist, but with a sword.
Oh, more of a sight.
Nivera's going to speak up and say, I hear the High Councilwoman has her knights working closely with the Knights of the Magnate, and the same with her handmaidens.
That wouldn't be too far. I mean, we've worked with them.
She nods and says, unfavorable lot, aren't they?
Father Anderson is a handful to be around, I will admit.
She's gonna snap and say, there was one in service to Marcus. I believe his name was Lord Marfell.
I've personally never met the man.
Talking to older members, I believe the man has left his station as a Knight of the Magnate. We have not personally worked with him.
She nods and says, terrible shame what happened to Marcus, though. Our Prince Marcus.
I hear it haunts Father Anderson every day.
She nods and says, I do wonder what our current leadership would look like if the High Council was allowed to appoint a magnate. Although I don't question the ways of old, nor our magnate's wisdom.
I will say she's...
I'd say in the face of adversity, she's used her power quite well, despite all the obstacles presented before her.
One of the people in the circle is going to speak up and say, I don't like her policies concerning this civil war. Everything seems to be a half measure to postpone it. And if you were to set the Royal Army marching northwards, we'd have it solved in about 2 months.
I, as somebody who's... with the Civil War is against the Mountain Wardens, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Me having worked with the Mountain Wardens, would I know on how bad of an idea that would be?
Would be a perfectly sensible idea.
Actually, yeah, no.
I'll allow you a history check on just, Mero's political knowledge.
Curse me and my grandfatherly instincts.
That's like
Sick. Okay.
Oh,
I'm not proficient in history, but I'm rolling well.
I'm on the wrong tab. A 16. Okay. So, yeah, you are going to know that, at least in Ardor Serai, all the different provinces serve the magnate out of choice. The country is bound together through oaths and honor, not subjugation. So it probably wouldn't solve the civil war if she just sent an army north and said serve or die. That was one of the things that started the war. Was the Mountain Wardens were hesitant about taking an oath to the throne, and Marcus said, "Take the oath or die." And then they sent
That
an
sword
army.
on my back. That was the oath or die. He died.
So, Mero at this is going to say, considering how most people here are by choice working with her, and being on why this war started, I don't think that it would be a good idea. If you want to try and cause as little bloodshed as possible,
I guess it depends on like how many, like we could it would be the quick solution, yes, but many pointless deaths would happen. This is slower, but you know, we can almost get this finished completely bloodless.
He's the man's gonna speak up and say, really, it's the 11th century, and we still have laws governing our nation from the third century. It's time we became a modern nation. We can't expect everybody. We can't expect everybody to serve the throne just because they want to. Some martial law needs to be enforced at some point. Otherwise, when the next catastrophe strikes, Ardor is going to falter. Nyvera is going to nod and say, "We already have, withdrawing our support from Nazaram."
With all things considered, I feel more comfortable knowing that the person beside me is willing to fight for the same reasons that I am than somebody who is legally required to, but not morally obliged to.
Another person in the circle, a woman's going to speak up and say, "Ooh, well spoken, Lord Asterai." She begins clapping politely. Kiro's gaze narrows.
So her gaze narrowing because like Mero said something dumb, and she's like, "You said something dumb," or is she getting territorial about her man?
Father Anderson does not know that.
Can, with my passive insight, know that?
I wish
I'm
I
gonna
knew
roll
that.
her a deception check. Oh yeah, it is.
She'd have to beat a 20.
It is. It's probably nothing with the logic of the argument of like Kiro was like following, paying attention, and like you feel like it was a really well spoken point, and she was like nodding and agreeing, and before she could even say something, this other woman spoke up. It's probably more personal than political.
She's getting territorial.
Okay.
Her tsundere is coming out.
Actually, yes. Well, no. I'm just thinking.
I can respect
this,
that.
This is out of character, but like, wait, not to put your foot in your mouth for one.
You almost get the talking's too good.
Are you feeling? It's like, Lord, that's right. Are you feeling okay? No.
Now, Rael did tell me he wanted to talk to people related to the ambassador, so I assumed he would be here too because the military is, you know, what she was appointed for. So Rael and Duman are both in this circle, are both a part of this roleplay too.
So is that general the one that Tristan appointed?
Yes. I have. Excuse me. I have not changed her title.
Cool.
Is she single?
Her Oathblade would indicate otherwise. But I will allow you a wisdom check for Dumont if he even knows what that means. I actually don't remember
I thought he was told that that's how you tell a single lady if the Oathblade is in a certain...
I think he was. I actually need...
I wouldn't have told you. I'm not that nice.
Alright, let's see. Heimsdale, Oath Sworn. Marriage is largely unregulated, however, the nobility offer licenses after which they take an oath. Oh, okay, so yeah, they don't have oath blades in Heimsdale, but you still swear yourselves. You just don't need the official, items and stuff. But yeah, Dumont's been here long enough to know that it means marriage.
Best case scenario, she's a widow, but she's still hung up on him.
Yep.
That's fine. Dumont doesn't really care. He just...
Now, let's roll a die. Well, I'm not even going to roll a die for it. The woman who is complimenting Marrow has an Oathblade on in the position for seeking.
Oh yeah, baby. Lines drawn, let's do this.
Here we go.
Yeah, but he already knew about Kiro.
No, it's not Kiro.
It was a different woman.
So here's what happened. There was a circle of people talking about politics. You guys joined into this circle. Marrow offered a point that was contrary to somebody else in the circle. That was a very well-spoken point. Everybody stopped to think like, oh wow, that was really well-spoken. And then a woman on the other side of the circle, not Kiro, somebody else spoke up and complimented Marrow of just like, that was really well said, Lord Estrai, and she is clapping for him. At that point, Kiro, who is standing next to...
You are, Lord Estrai, son.
Yeah. Kiro, who is standing next to Marrow, turns towards her, and her stare narrows. She basically does not like this woman complimenting Marrow. That is what happened in the roleplay where we were like picking up on. That woman who spoke up has an Oathblade on her waist, indicating she is seeking a suitor.
I would say, like, some of us came unarmed. Almost doesn't have any weapons to speak of whatsoever.
So Dumont is going to do one of those polite coughs. And in his polite cough, he's going to send Marrow a message.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to be like, the girl right beside you's got some spunk.
He is going to go a bit... Actually, nobody would notice this because he has a mask over his mouth. So...
Oh, you can't wear a mask?
Marrow always wears a mask and a cowl.
In a formal setting.
Yes.
Ah, God.
Okay, do you expect people to talk to him normally when they see an extended muzzle, dog muzzle?
I mean, I know, but I thought, like, at least a party mask, man. Come on.
Alma pulls out a Sharpie and draws a happy face on it.
No, it's like, hold still.
I like to think that it has like a scowl on it. It's like painted up. So if anybody's ever like, "Come on, Mara, turn that frown upside down," they just take it and turn it.
So Dumont is going to intercede and
take the
quote unquote be gonna be a wingman, and he's going to introduce himself to the seat.
Taking one for the team.
You're going to introduce... Oh, to the person seeking? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh. Wow. Dumont is such a noble and great friend.
On top of actually, Alma will embellish the story.
Lord Chief Dumont is the most man I've ever met.
Well, no,
this is what he's going to say. He's going to bow to her, and he's going to say, "My lady, I am Chief Dumont, the Fateborn, the Viscount of Aveline, shiplord to Greyford Bay, vassal of Himdalian nobility, right hand to the voice of God, and almost my Grandma Na's favorite grandchild. What is your name?"
Like Alma is just gonna comment like, the right hand of God thing's new, but Dumont here is a valued member of our team. He was actually instrumental in our latest mission to kill a vampire.
Alright, so she is going to give you a name, and forgive me for rolling it up at random. I'm just going to record it in case she ever comes back up.
Alma will play him.
She is going to give you the name. I am Captain Ilderon Sayan. I am
Captain, eh? Have you gone to my homeland?
She's going to shake her head and say, I command a small force within the Royal Army. High General of Winds, Navira Dardell is going to speak up and say, Captain Sayan, oh my god, that was completely accidental. Captain Sayan is in charge of the royal guards that roam through Arothia on the southwestern border.
And she's quite lovely. Hopefully she's quite lovely. I don't know. What's her appearance at, bro?
I rolled it up. Her appearance is a 12 plus 5 is 17. She is a Somar Villa.
Yeah, she's a look.
She is a Somar Villa resident through and through.
I was gonna say the answer is that she's quite lovely. It's a matter of how much do you mean it?
No, actually, I'm surprised.
You mean it a lot.
No one's mentioned.
Thank you, Rob. That's exactly how I thought about it.
She is going to speak up and say, my unit is one of the first lines of defenses should our forces in Dorage fall. Nivera is going to say, they won't fall as long as Soyes is within their ranks. But that Illunagian general they have is quite crafty. He held out for the winter, which is very impressive.
Oh man, they don't know better.
Boy. Meryl, while this is going on, will kind of give a side hug to Kiro and say, you know, if we ever have some downtime, I wouldn't mind going hunting with you again.
She nods as she's looking at Shafe.
Another message comes into Mero's mind. Hunting. Right.
Almost just going to give Mero a small nudge, and it's like, you know, it's a party. Why don't you go dance?
Describe to me what Mero does next as this is happening.
Oh boy, Mero is gonna kind of freeze as Alma mentions dance. As he's... nervously tapping one of his feet.
Music starts playing.
So that's a good question, Brandon. Would Dumont know how to dance? Since he's nobility, but he's Himdalian, which is more of a military state.
Well, in order they waltz, sometimes they'll do the electric slides.
Now, would you believe I have not world built any culture around dancing or anything? So I would say generically yes. The differences, though, the intricacies and nuances, I have to message you about that like next week. But I would say yes off the top of my
When
head.
you make them.
I know specifically for Ardor, the music is very heavily influenced and built around the percussion of, like, if you were to listen to like American music, a lot of the times it's like the singing instruments of like a guitar or a piano or a saxophone. Like the whole band is structured and led by the percussionists.
So more like Mongolian, or what's the type of song, or like I almost want to say tribal.
Yeah, Ardor is the oldest nation in the world. So they were the first to invent drums for communication, and then drums then became an art form.
Dumont's gonna ask Captain Cyril, or not Cyril, Saiyan, Captain Saiyan, if she would like to dance.
Okay, so as all of this was happening, I needed to know a specific action from Marrow, so I'm going to move by it. So Marrow, you side hug Kira as Dumont and Saiyan are talking. As you get the message from Alma, and you freeze or turn to talk to him, Kiro is going to put her hand. So if she's standing on your left side, and you put your left arm around her, she places her right hand on yours, forcing your hand to stay there until Dumont asks Saiyan to dance. To which she looks over at Captain Saiyan looks over at Dumont and nods enthusiastically, and they begin to walk off. At which point, Kiro lets go of your hand. Which brings us back to the conversation where Captain Navira is going to, then the circle is going to close, and Captain Navira is going to say, I heard the general is the brother of our former magnate, the brother of Respis, God's rest his soul. Another person. Go ahead.
Marrow at that will give a respectful reply of the equivalent of may he rest in peace, in whatever deity he decides to choose at the time. Whatever respectful one for Valvir.
Huh. That was pretty much all the information and stuff I had planned for this group. They will stay and keep discussing politics. Did you want to say anything else?
With Kiro, looking at Alma, it's just he is going to kind of whisper, I'm willing to make a stealth check for this. He's gonna whisper to him, I can't dance.
No, I'm just gonna give a hand motion of at least try.
He's actually.
Does Alma know dominate person?
Oh my god.
I'm
At the
kidding.
moment, no, but I can change that.
Be 2 sessions in a row. Magically compel somebody to do something in your own party.
He is going to look at Kiro and kind of say, "It has been a while since we were just able to hang out. Maybe it wouldn't be a bad idea for me to at least try to learn how to dance."
She is going to not dragging your hand, bring you towards the center of the dance floor, and say, "I think you do owe me one."
Mm-hmm.
All right.
When Dumont sees this, he does another the polite cough type thing and does another message to Marrow and say, "Don't forget the lambskin."
This is also why he wears a mask.
As
Like, underneath, and Romero's like red as a tomato.
Yes, because nobody can see it. All you can see is his eyes.
As you do start walking away, Kiro stops, and she is going to bow and say, "General Dardell, thank you for allowing me into your circle." Dardell is going to smile and say, "Please, you're such a pleasure." The Kiro nods and then begins dragging Marrow off again.
When Kira bows, he'll bow with her as well.
All right. How do you guys feel about ending there for the night on a happy note?
Yeah, that sounds great. Almost gonna get beverages for himself and Mero when he's done.
I want to end on a dour note.
Well, we can go for about 10 more minutes.
Will that get us to depression?
Yeah, probably.
You're about to go talk to her, so possibly.
Maybe
I'll be nothing but polite tonight, Vera.
maybe Gale Song can appear again and make Rob the hand of God.
Again. Well, I mean, actually, he never took that away. He's still technically the hand of God.
I am the voice of Gale Song,
Oh, the voice of God. I mean,
the Stormfather.
You know what?
The right hand of voice.
I'm actually gonna say we're gonna end there on a happy note because it's 60% more smiles, and
Boo!
I
Boo this man. Everybody boo. Boo. Get it on the stream. Boo.
I hear a woo. I'm gonna go with woo.
This isn't some Ric Flair centric episode of WCW.
I coursed you guys into the ball by saying there would be happy, good stuff here, and I want to at least honor half of that.
I was promised the exact opposite by you taking the time to state that, so I feel unfulfilled.
I mean, unhappy stuff will happen later.
I gotta wait 2 weeks for the unhappy.
Some would say that that's a good thing.
You know, this is like the episode cliffhanger, alright? Like,
There's no cliffhanger, it's just good!
And then, like, next episode, shit hits the fan.
Alright, let's,
2 weeks, they get this happy feeling.
Continuing to boo.
Oh.
Make sure the boos are implied, because you need to give us XP, but the boos are there.
let's see, let's do experience for this session, and then, we can, chat, for the evening. A major experience for, an update on, the, war. Marrow's personal story of anything. Oh, Gale Song. You guys, God, Gale Song was so close to just having a relaxing spring. He's going on spring break. Sending Gale Song back into the capital, and then you know how this lines up. You guys send Gale Song to do stuff, and then Group A asks him to do more stuff, and he's just like, God, people, leave me alone.
That's why he said he doesn't want to do another miracle.
No, he's just an asshole.
Well, how I am.
Apparently, none of my conversation points affected you.
Also, I want to.
How I envisioned that of like why he declined was that like when Group A asked him was just like, no, he just wants to relax in Somar Villa, you know, after this great thing he's done. But it still makes sense now for his responses of just like, you know, just like, hey, will you do this? And it's like, they just asked me to do stuff. Leave me alone.
See, the problem was that you guys sent the sending to the wrong man. As the voice of God, you should have sent it to Father Ed.
Who would promptly ignore you.
Let's see what else happened. So Gil Song, the update on the army, Marrow's personal story. I feel like there's one
forecasts.
I'll give you guys minor experience for the roleplay with Johan, coming back into the play, and I think
My old dwarf teacher.
Mao trying to at least come to terms with the woman he threw into a car.
I feel like he literally just put that in for shits and giggles, and shits and giggles were certainly had.
No, I think he threw that in because he was rolling up, and it just happened to work that way.
Yeah, I rolled a percentage die of if a good or bad events happen to you guys, and you rolled on the bad.
You guys heard that Nivira doesn't like me and didn't defend my honor.
Oh, we even agreed with her.
I'm actually going to give you guys minor experience for that.
We are slowly repairing the reputation that you guys broke, okay?
One man!
Yeah, but you are included in that one man. So we have to at least make it go like, oh, we're not all bad.
Yeah, I'm not included in that one man. It's one man. It wasn't me.
I mean, actually, I don't even know what happened to him. Did he die, or did he really just leave?
Well, he had to leave.
Yeah, he had to leave. He was like moving and got a job and other shenanigans.
No, I meant like
As his character.
The in-character story is that he ran off with his retainer, and they're hopefully dead in a ditch somewhere.
He was looking for love and to continue his noble name, and he found out that his retainer had a huge crush on him, and he didn't want the responsibilities of his noble house, so he just ran off with her. But for experience tonight, I'm going to say 5,500. And inspiration to Marrow, definitely. And there's another roleplay I really like.
Anderson's definitely with...
Anderson was like the highlight for me.
I will give you guys the option of inspiration for Anderson and Marrow, or I can just say 200 more experience across the board for good roleplay all around. I really like Dumont on the table. Okay, so no inspiration this session. Dumont on the table tips it off. So total experience 5,700. We'll pick up here next session. Your guys' next session is going to be on the 2nd. I am probably going to cancel that.
Boom!
Not on the 2nd.
I will have more information as it gets closer. We'll see.
So, what was the XP for tonight? Sorry.
5,700. All right. And